What if your favorite hobby, the one thing that makes you lose track of time, could actually outlive you? No, I don't mean going viral or building an empire, although neither one of those is a bad thing. Keep that in mind. I mean becoming a living legacy that impacts people you may not even meet. Today, I'm going to show you how to turn your passion into a legacy project without getting overwhelmed or needing a business degree. Stick around until the end of this video because I'll also give you a free tool at the end to get started. Ready? Let's walk. Before we dive any deeper, I want to talk about something I've been noticing more and more. There's a stretch of life not defined by age but by experience, where you've been through enough to have real seniority. Not the kind that gets you a discount, but the kind that earns you respect, insight, perspective. And I think that comes with an opportunity, a responsibility even. Not to fade into the background, but to step up and share what you've learned, to mentor, to guide, to inspire, and make sure the next generation doesn't have to figure it all out from scratch. You don't need to be called a senior. You aren't done. You're ready. You've lived enough to teach, and if you're willing to share, that could change lives. This is legacy in action. Think about it. Who makes the best sports coaches? The ones who've actually played the game and loved it. They've taken the hits, celebrated the wins, mourned the losses, and learned how to keep showing up. The scoreboard didn't always reflect the effort, but the experience always delivered the insight. That's you. You've been in the game of life. You've faced fourth downs and fumbled a few plays, but you always tried to make the impossible drives, the game saving blocks, and the hard earned touchdowns. Just look at one of my personal favorites, Dan Campbell with the Detroit Lions. He hasn't led with perfection, he's led with grit, with fight, with heart, that raw, relentless belief in his team. That's what legacy leadership looks like. You don't need a microphone or a stage. You just need to show up and share. And yes, stay tuned because we'll talk more about football and life in an upcoming episode. And I believe that time, post hustle, post obligation is actually where your story has the most weight, the most insight, the most potential to teach. That's the phase when you can light the path for others, when your value is less about what you're doing in the moment and more about what you share. Too many of us are sitting on gifts we never share. We wait until we retire, until we're less busy, till we figure it all out. But the truth is, legacy doesn't wait. It builds slowly in the quiet moments, the half finished journals, the Sunday afternoons when you're deep in your craft and you don't even realize you're creating something worth passing on. Let me show you how to make it real. When I talk about legacy, I'm not talking about theory. I'm talking about real life, joy, heartache, beautiful, irreplaceable impact. We often see those articles about centenarians or wise elders, what they regret, what they wish they would have prioritized. One of the most moving I always remember is by Irma Bombeck, If I Had My Life to Live Over. She writes about playing more and worrying less, about squeezing every last drop of joy from the moments that mattered. And that's really what legacy is about. Not just saving the stories, but living a life that creates them and shares them. Irma Bombeck and others tried to leave messages for us. Sadly, all too often they were deathbed musings rather than real lessons that they could have started years before. And since we're talking about legacy, let's pause for a second to consider what that actually means. Oxford Dictionary defines legacy as an amount of money or property left to someone in a will. Number two, the long lasting impact of particular events, actions, or a person's life. We're working with that second one today. The impact that you make that keeps echoing after you're gone. Everything was kind of a blur. Nurses buzzing around, machines beeping, visitors coming and going. But eventually it was quiet, really quiet. My then husband had gone home, and it was just me and this tiny new human. And in that moment, I was overwhelmed with this one thought. I wish my mom was here. Not just to meet him, though that would have meant the world to me, but because I suddenly had so many questions, the kind you don't even know to ask until you're in it. I lost my mom when I was 21, way too young to realize I'd want to hear her stories, her thoughts, her voice. And sitting there in the hospital room, I felt the full weight of what I didn't get to ask her, what I didn't get to save. That moment, that's when it all changed. It's the reason I do this work, because I know there's someone out there who will feel the same way one day. And maybe they won't have to wonder. Maybe you can be the person who leaves behind the stories, some answers, some encouragement. And these days, we actually have the tools to easily do it. Tech doesn't have to be cold or complicated. It can be how we pass down love, lessons, laughter. You've got something worth sharing too. Let's figure it out. What's one thing people always ask you about or compliment you on? If you're not sure where to begin, go back and watch episode 6 where I walk through how to give your memories a second life using photos and Canva. It might just spark that starting point for you. So we've covered the who, that's you, and the why of all this. And now it's time to tackle what and what's the plan? How do we go ahead? So let's, number one, clarify the what. What do I want people to remember, use, build? Is it humor, skill, connection? Number two, choose the format you'd like to use: a website, a book, a digital album, a podcast, a print deck, a wooden memory box. You choose your style for your audience. And finally, number three, let's break it into milestones. You can use tech, you can use a journal, you can use sticky notes. It really doesn't matter. Let's just start breaking it apart, and then the ideas become tiny, walkable steps. I mentioned at the beginning of this episode that I have a free gift for those of you who stuck around until the end. To help you get started, I've put together my free guide, Your Legacy Project Planner. Check out the link in the description below so you can get it and other resources at my website. We've listed some of my favorite online tools in the description as well. However, you should remember tech is the tool, not the project. The story is the project, your story. You don't have to be famous, you don't have to go viral, you just have to care. So here's your invitation. Take one passion and this week, brainstorm one way it could outlive you. Tell me in the comments what you're thinking of starting. Together, we're building something that matters. I'll be here next Wednesday to walk with you. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. We're just getting started. So, keep walking toward what matters.